gentlemen, wrestling fans the world over, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, playing host this evening to RWL Race. Good evening to you wherever you may be. My name's Don Hickson. I'll be joined by Christy Ogilvie and Myron Schimmelman for tonight's action. Oh, it is going to be a great card.
And it's going to be kind of hard to top Snarl's main event match Saturday night. But Myron and GM Steve Groves have put together a real crackerjack 2-hour card of rage action. And listen good when I say this. Some serious and for real surprises, y'all.
And I love surprises, don't you, Christy? Alright, well, let's get rage underway straight out of the gate, ladies and gentlemen. Our opening contest, a ladies division contest with Sherry Martel of Bell Unlimited, set to go against American Power's Chief of Security, Sister Goldenhair, in her third matchup.
Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to our WL Rage. The first match scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle and representing Scott Bell Unlimited from Nashville, Tennessee, sensational Sherry Martel.
All right, well, Sherry Martel, let's talk about it. Coming to the ring alone as stipulated in these matches involving Sister Goldenhair, and conspicuous by his absence, Too Short Popeye Scott Bell, irate and angry about the way his life has gone lately. We will therefore not be seeing Too Short Popeye Scott Bell. He will not be coming out. He will not be seeing his shadow. And what does that do to the weather? Who knows? Who cares? Myron, not to get personal, but have you been drinking? What are you, nuts? I don't drink. Everyone knows I don't drink. It's only that you're comporting yourself in a manner inconsistent to what I'm accustomed to.
He's fine, Don. He was talking with Tex Lynch in his pickup with the windows rolled up.
And her opponent, representing American Powers from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, she is Sister Goldenhair.
And check your girl, Christy, oh y'all. Just a little later in the first half, y'all are gonna get a peek at something good, because I got the very first interview with Sister Goldenhair, so the fans can get to know Patty and Danielle's blonde and electric blue. It's just a minute or two, but you'll learn a little something about the sister. Here's her recap. On the records, on in the ring business, she whipped Ronda Rousey in her first match, and lost to Mickie James at Hotter Than July. Sherry has her marching orders from Too Short, and he said make it hurt. Guess we about to find it all out, but that's no little California surfer girl.
She may look like Tinkerbell, but Tinkerbell can take you down to the mat in a few seconds. Sherry Martel and Sister Goldenhair in her third matchup. Here we go. Willie Johnson sounds the bell. They lock up. Sherry Martel takes Sister Goldenhair down to the canvas, follows it up with a stomp to the midsection. Sherry Martel catches an elbow from Sister Goldenhair. Up over the shoulders, taken down to the mat and into a bow and arrow stretch from Sister Goldenhair. Well versed in the technical skills is Sister Goldenhair. Sherry Martel on the far corner. Catch and rolls electric blue boots to the face from Sister Goldenhair. Sherry Martel being stretched as Willie Johnson looks on. Sister Goldenhair going right back to work on the same arm of Sherry Martel. Scott Bell must be watching backstage, has to be absolutely pulling out his hair. A snap suplex from Sister Goldenhair. And here we go. The tides have turned almost immediately here. A knee to the head of Sherry Martel. Martel again being stretched by Sister Goldenhair. Takes herself to the apron quickly, makes a leap to the top turnbuckle in the far corner. Misses with the diving elbow. Sherry Martel was an overhand right. A series of shots and a hard kick that doubles Sister Goldenhair over. Whip to the ropes, a hip toss from Sherry Martel. Martel. Oh, this is bad. Sherry Martel systematically stomping every available inch of Sister Golden Hair and rallying the fans here in Calgary as if she could get any support. Good luck with that project. A rebound off the ropes and a wicked kick to the side of the head of Sister Golden Hair. Sherry Martel turning the tides in her favor here, but Sister Golden Hair countering with elbows. A series of shots. Sherry Martel catching a cravat suplex from Sister Golden Hair. Whoa! Here we go again. Another brutal series of shots that go behind and a German suplex to Sherry Martel. Sister Golden Hair gathers her up, takes her to the far corner head first into the turnbuckle. Has her up, slams her basic scoop slam, but it gets the job done. Here's a cover. 1, 2. But nope, Sherry Martel kicking out at 2. Sister Golden Hair getting the fans here in Calgary worked up. They seem to like what they see. Sherry Martel whipped over the top rope to the outside. And here comes Sister Golden Hair. Drives a knee into the head of Sherry Martel. Follows that up with an elbow to the same spot. Sherry Martel gathered up. Sister Golden Hair again unloading with that quick series of shots. Very consistent in the way she works. Willie Johnson trying to get them back inside the ring. Sherry Martel counter whips Sister Golden Hair towards the barricades, has her down. And now stomping the hands and fingers of Sister Golden Hair. Sherry Martel taking full advantage on the outside as the referee counts, using some very exceptionally vicious blows you would ordinarily not use in the ring, and using them to their full potential. Sherry Martel really pressing the advantage on Sister Golden. Oh, no, stepping on the hair. Sherry Martel somewhat on the sadistic side, much in the same light as Grace Fenwick of the UK ladies. Sister Golden Hair finally rolled back inside the ring by Sherry Martel. And she seems to have things under control and on her side at the present time. Oh, slams face first into the canvas. Goes Sister Golden Hair. Sherry Martel, perhaps sensing the end might be near. Sister Golden Hair to a standing position. Oh, the double axe handles. No, she catches a shot to the midsection, and Sherry Martel didn't appreciate it. Makes Sister Golden Hair pay with a headlock punch. And now again, stamping the boot on the hands and fingers of Sister Golden Hair. A hard kick to the midsection. Sherry Martel drags her center ring, but oh man, this is bad. And here's a heel hook stretch on Sister Golden Hair. Hey, a boot right to the tail. Quickly escapes, misses with the charging grapple. Sherry Martel exploits the mistake. Sister Golden Hair right back up again. Delivers elbows to Sherry Martel. A hard right, a left, a chop. And Sister Golden Hair with a powerbomb on Sherry Martel. And all of a sudden, just like that, things have turned around really quickly. As Sister Golden Hair drags Sherry Martel towards the center of the ring. Winds her up. Look at this. Stretching the legs. Here's a possible submission. Sister Golden Hair releases the hold. Covers and hooks the leg. 1, 2. Well, she just wore out Sherry Martel. So, a pinfall win for Sister Golden Hair.
The time was 6 minutes and 38
everyone's just gone up to 2 wins and 1 loss, and both those wins at the expense of Scott Bell's girls, with Sister Goldenhair handing Bell Unlimited a pair of losses in a pair of appearances. It even takes the spotlight off the loss to Mickey James at Hotter Than July, when Sis is out here winning her matches and making 2 Shorts girls look less than. I know he's burning up like heat miser right about now. As for Sis, hey, she comes out of this looking sharp and showing everybody I am cute. But I will throw shots with Chew. I like her. Sherry Martel out in her usual stock rule breaker bad girl thing. And yeah, it worked for a little minute, and that momentum went back and forth really fast. And just wow, I guess Sherry just kinda gave up, because I thought sure, she was gonna kick out that last pin, but Sister Goldenhair just wore her out, plain and simple. Great way to start our first half, and we'll be back with the next match in just a minute. Stay with me now.
Alright, as RWL Rage continues Legends Division competition. And whoa, this one's gonna be a rekindled feud for sure. The Big Boss Man reuniting with his old arch rival, the Mountie.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the next match is scheduled for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle from Cobb County, Georgia, weighing 312 pounds, he is the Big Boss Man.
Our apologies, fans, for failing to mention it at the outset. Ida Holly filling in tonight as ring announcer for the temporarily indisposed Aria Mitchell, the Big Boss Man, all set to reunite with his old arch rival, the Mountie, after many, many years. I never seen somebody sign so quick. He heard the Mountie was here, and he was like, make it happen.
And his opponent from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, weighing 168 pounds. All fans, please be upstanding for the Mountie.
So what, they're not gonna stand up? Us all here in the broadcast booth are exempt from such foolishness. The Mountie making his second appearance after being absolutely roasted alive by Ken Kennedy on Snarl. And I'm sure it's going to be a wild confrontation when he and the Big Boss Man bang heads again for the first time in a long time. You know me, Don. I love the classic wrestlers. I love the Legends division. And I love a good rekindled feud. And that's what we're going to get here tonight between Mountie and Boss Man. And I can hardly wait. The tension, the rivalry between these two men goes back a very long way and definitely has not cooled with the passage of time. And it's likely to be reignited with full force just as soon as the bell rings here. We are treated to the full Canadian national anthem. The Mountie puts the brakes on the Boss Man like a Warner Brothers cartoon. The Mountie catches the back body drop from the Big Boss Man, followed up with a kick to the back. The Mountie charges, catches another knee. The Boss Man follows up with a clothesline. Takes the Mountie down again, rounds him back up. Gets a hold. Hard whip to the corner. The Mountie rebounds out forcefully. Arm drag from the Mountie. Boss Man rolls out to the outside. Comes back inside. The Mountie pitched halfway across town by his throat. The Big Boss Man catches a leg sweep from the Mountie. The Mountie gathering up the Big Boss Man again. Has him up over the shoulder. Slams him down hard. Boss Man rolls out for a reset. Tried to get a hold of the leg. The Mountie snapped his hand. Boss Man back inside the ring, rounds him up, has him up, knee breaker from the Big Boss Man. Now going to work on the Mountie down on the canvas, a series of stomps from the Big Boss Man. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg, one, but no, just a 1 count. An elbow to the top of the skull, a kick to the midsection. Boss Man quickly moves in, front slam. Gets him by the throat, rounds him back up again. The Mountie counters with a shot to the ribs. Takes himself to the outside. The Boss Man going to follow him on out. The Mountie playing games here with the Big Boss Man. They slide in and out. Boss man gets a hold. The Mountie counters him, gets a hold of him. Boss man counters with an elbow. Tries for the clothesline again. The Mountie quickly putting on the brakes. The Mountie gathers up the Boss man. Boss man lines him up, and there's a short arm clothesline from the big Boss man, followed up with a hard stomp to the midsection. The Mountie rips the Boss man out onto the apron, starts talking trash to him, catches a right to the face. The Boss man, with a hold of the Mountie, has him all the way up long. Vertical suplex from the big Boss man. Boss man urging the Mountie to stand up so he can knock him right back down again. The Mountie charges. Oh, a headbutt. A charging headbutt like a rhinoceros from the Mountie. The Mountie with a single leg crab on the Boss man. Referee calling for the break. Boss man reached for the ropes. The Mountie rounds the Boss man up, whips him to the corner. Fails to connect with the charge. Boss man has him up over the shoulders. The Mountie counters it into a DDT center ring. Quickly covers one. And only just one. The Boss man kicking out fairly easily. Rolls out, rolls back in. Gets a hold of the Mountie, whips him to the corner. Big time splash. 312 pounds worth. A stomp to the back of the Mountie. The big Boss man rounds him up by the throat, trying to assert himself here, takes him down. The Mountie shoves him away, back up on his feet. Nice judo-style hip toss from the Mountie. The big Boss man taken down for a cover here, one, and barely just a one. Boss man still able to kick out here. The Mountie not having done nearly enough damage. Here's a clothesline. Boss man swings and misses, rebounds off the rope, catches the back body drop from the Mountie. The Mountie moves in, has him up, spine buster. And that could be really bad news for the big Boss man. A series of jabs from the Mountie. He wounds up with the right and boom. Down goes the big Boss man. The Mountie rounds him up again. Boss man quickly sweeping the leg here. A quick and clever roll-up. Look at this. 1, 2. A 2 count on a clever roll-up pin by the Mountie. Boss man quickly stopped by the Mountie, taken down. And a blatant, oh, look at the mandible claw by the Mountie. The Mountie resorting to desperate measures here. The Boss man finds his way out of the mandible claw. How about that? A quick counter from the Mountie with a left, a kick to the midsection to the Boss man. He has him up over the shoulders. And, oh, what a powerbomb. Hurling the Boss man through space. Here's the cover. 1, 2. Oh, the big Boss man surprising just about everyone, including the Mountie. Boss man with a couple of shots. Frees himself from the Mountie. Whip to the far corner. The Mountie misses with the charge. The Mountie counters with a right to the Boss man. Another Boss man against the ropes. Whip to the ropes by the Mountie. A spinning elbow takes him down. A stomp to the shoulder. And right back to the throat of the big Boss man for the Mountie. The Mountie rounds him up. Boss man with a forearm counter. Gets a hold of him. Slams him down. What a spine buster from the big Boss man. Who's definitely taken quite a beating at the hands of the Mountie. A stomp to the back. Big Boss man now stalking the Mountie, perhaps sensing the end might be near. Here it is, the Boss man slam. And just like that, the Mountie's out to lunch. Here's a cover. 1, 2, 3, and that is going to do it. The big Boss man winning this one by pinfall over the Mountie.
Here's the time, 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Here's your winner, the big Boss man.
Well, the Mountie staunchly refusing to be put down, but the big Boss man adamant and insistent that he stay there, at least for the count of 3, and he certainly managed to get that done.
The Boss man, not exactly known for having what anyone might call a feel-good match. But I'm betting he's just had himself one, and I can guarantee you, laying the Mountie out for the 1, 2, 3 with that Boss man slam. You know, that had to feel good to the Boss man, who hands the Mountie his second consecutive loss tonight. More rage in just a minute. As we continue, something new and different from the cruiserweights department. Well, new and different for around here anyway. Tonight, Chris Jericho crashes the party in a one-off match against RWL Hall of Famer and cruiserweight legend, Craig NBC Block, in a special appearance tonight. They don't know Craig in YouTube land, Myron. Tell him about it, baby.
He's only the longest reigning cruiserweight champion of 3.5 years.
That's true for 3.5 years. Craig Block was the cruiserweight champion, and no one could take him down for all that time.
This next match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Making his way to the ring first, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, weighing 227 pounds, Chris Jericho.
How long has Jericho been doing this? Just take yourself back to the days of Y2J Jericho. Then, think about how long ago that really was. Yeah, Jericho and Craig Block, definitely two well-seasoned cruiserweights with serious credentials. And while I love all the cruiserweights we've got, it's probably nice that they get a little night off. Wow, Jericho and NBC. Ooh, this is gonna be hot.
Craig Block may have spent all his years in RWO, but Chris Jericho has competed every place you can possibly compete all over the world.
You know when it's going to get interesting? When these two guys start mixing up with the cruiserweights we already got.
And his opponent accompanied by Trish Stratus from Broward, Florida, weighing 190 pounds. He's an RWL Hall of Famer, former longest reigning cruiserweight champion. Here is Craig NBC Block.
At the end of his last run as cruiserweight champ, they called him the man who whipped the world 3 times. Craig Block was just an unstoppable combination of striking and technical moves, finishing opponents with either brutal combinations or the avalanche driver when he feels fancy. Been forever since we see NBC, the never-beaten champion. Gonna be badass to see if he still got it against Jericho, since he wanna play and come out here with Trish instead of Chris Jericho. No, he for real just did that.
That's right. Trish was supposed to come out with Jericho. Oi, now I see what happened.
And Chris Jericho giving Craig NBC Block more than just a little bit of a side eye here, as Block makes his entrance with Trish Stratus instead of Chris Jericho.
I'm just gonna say it, that's awkward.
But nonetheless, 2 cruiserweights we don't get to see very often, in place of the ones we often do.
And you can just forget about trying to pick a winner here. Craig Block and Jericho are about the same on experience, and they both play at the championship level. Too close to call for me.
Not to rain on the parade anymore, but it's been some time since we've seen either of these guys compete. The referee sounds the bell. They come centering Chris Jericho. With a forearm, Craig Block counters with a right. They lock up again. Craig Block goes behind on Jericho. Jericho caught in that rear waist lock. Craig Block taken down by Chris Jericho. Rear headlock. And a knee driven into the back of Craig Block. Chris Jericho whips him to the ropes. Ducks under. Has him up over the SBC. Craig Block turns it around. Delivers a kick to the back of Chris Jericho. Jericho takes him down. Chris Jericho rounding up Craig Block. Has him all the way up, but Craig Block turns it around. Surprise, surprise. Chris Jericho countering again into a DDT. This one moving very quickly so far. Chris Jericho. Oh, a brainbuster on Craig Block. Oh, a series of hard shots. Craig Block seated in the corner. Trish Stratus looking on as Chris Jericho really starts to go. Here we go. Here's a cover. Oh, not even one. Craig Block kicking out. delivers an elbow to Chris Jericho, gets himself standing up. There's a clothesline. Craig catches a jawbreaker from Chris Jericho. Jericho with a wrap-around neckbreaker drives an elbow into Craig Block's chest. Chris Jericho rounds him up, whips him to the corner. Craig counters, escapes the corner, has Jericho up in the fireman's carry. Oh, there it is. There's that avalanche, but too close to the ropes for a pin attempt. Jericho drives a knee into the head of Craig Block. Craig Block into that rear headlock. It is Jericho trying for all his worth, but Craig back up on his feet and a couple of elbows. Whoa-ho! Jericho quick with the counter. A running bulldog to Craig Block. Craig with a jawbreaker on Jericho and a clothesline that took him down hard. Jericho favoring his neck on that last one. Craig Block setting it up here. Look at this. A camel clutch and gouging the face of Chris Jericho. Jericho slips out the back door, gets back up to a standing position. Craig Block says, "Oh no, you don't." Down he goes. Like grapevine. Jericho escapes the submission hold. Craig catches a stomp to the shoulder. Jericho certainly getting fired up even more than he was at the start. Rebound off the ropes. A shoulder tackle, a rebound. Craig pitches him out onto the apron, but doesn't see Jericho coming. And there it is, double axe handle right across the top of the head of Craig Block. Jericho. Woohoo! Charges, misses. Craig Block hung up on the top rope. Rolls out to the floor. Chris Jericho goes out after him. Referee already counting. Block slammed head first into the apron by Chris Jericho. Jericho rounds him up. There's a kick when Craig takes himself back inside the ring. Likewise, Chris Jericho kicked to the gut from Craig Block and taken down into, look at this. Before the submission could even get started, Chris Jericho slips out of that one. Craig whipped to the far corner. A clothesline, a rebound off the ropes, and another bulldog. Center ring to Craig Block. Here's a cover from Jericho. 1, 2, and no. Still no success for Chris Jericho. Craig Block up to a woohoo belly to belly suplex out of no place. Jericho on the apron. Counters. Craig gets back inside the ring. Gets a hold of Craig Block. Takes him down. Craig counters with a series of shots. Gets himself loose. Gets a hold of Jericho, but Jericho squirming free over here. Snap near to Craig Block. And twisting the head and neck. The former longest reigning cruiserweight champion ever. Hard right from Craig. Kick from Jericho. Jericho quickly scrambles him up into a backbreaker. Jericho gets a hold of Craig. Craig countering. Elbows to the head of Chris Jericho. Woo! Jericho whipped hard into the corner. Rebounds out, crashes to the ground. Craig Block with an eye on Chris Jericho. He's got him up. Whoa! He was trying for it, the avalanche, but Chris Jericho countering his way out. Russian leg sweep takes Craig Block down to the canvas. Jericho following it up. Gathers up Craig Block. Hard right, double chop. Craig in the far corner. Here's Jericho opening up with a series of strikes. Block whipped it. There goes our referee. Craig Block countered again by Chris Jericho. Walt Washburn slowly making his way back to the land of the living. Chris Jericho on the ropes. Greg Block with a series of rights. And now Jericho being introduced to the top turnbuckle. And his many, many cousins. Down goes Chris Jericho. Jericho back up again. Oh! Knees right to the skull. Jericho covers. 1, 2. Well, that ended abruptly. Chris Jericho winning by pinfall.
Here's the time. 7 minutes and 13 seconds, and here's your winner, Chris Jericho.
And so Chris Jericho picks up the win, and Craig Block learns a valuable lesson about not showing up at ringside with the girl your opponent's supposed to show up with at ringside.
Craig Block was always known for making a scene, but he totally dissed Jericho by having Trish Stratus with him at ringside instead of Jericho. Strikes me Jericho ain't think it was all that funny. And Craig Block got his ass beat. Someone help me. Am I missing the haha here?
I don't know, Christy. Sometimes you just gotta chalk these things up to bad planning. As simple as that, bad planning.
Alright, we'll be back with more RWL Rage right after the break. Stay with us.
Fans. She's new, she's exciting, and she sure is getting a lot of attention early. I'm talking about Sister Goldenhair, new resident bodyguard to Patty Powers and Liberty Belle Danielle. Thanks for the time, sis. So, let's start with just a little bit about you. Who you are, how you've landed here in RWL.
Let's start with the most frequently asked question first. No, Sister Goldenhair isn't my real name, and I just don't use my real name. As for me, I'm from the same neighborhood as Danielle, so we've known each other for a while. Training at the gym together, that kind of stuff. I've got a background in wrestling too, and Danielle mentioned it would be nice to have some backup at ringside. Couple of days later, she calls me to say I got the job. I still don't believe how fast it all happened.
Seems like you've been doing a lot more wrestling than guarding bodies, but the fans are feeling it. Talk about stuff happening fast. Looks like you're already on your way to problems with Scott Bell and his stable. I'm sure you've already received the crash course on Too Short Popeye, right?
I'm still learning it all, and it's a lot to unpack. I know we haven't got a whole lot of time, so let me wrap things up quickly as I can hear. Yes, I wrestle, not 'cause I want to be a star or be a champion someday. I do it so these gals backstage understand that I'm here on business, and that I don't play. But yeah, Scott Bell and his girls, they don't matter, so they don't bother. But just understand, anyone has a problem with Patty and Danielle, they got a problem with me. I suggest everyone remember this going forward. Just play respectful, and there won't be any issues. Listen, thanks for the time, really, Christy. But I got a bug out now.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for the time, too. Sister Goldenhair looks like she is gonna be around, keeping an eye on American Powers, while everyone else is watching her. All right, back to ringside and more rage in just a minute.
Fans, to close out the first half, Legends Division tag action, and I'm talking classic Legends Division tag action, as Sting and the Ultimate Warrior join forces as the Blade Runners, set to face Tito Santana and the model Rick Martel, the Strike Force.
This next Legends Division Tag Team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring at a combined weight of 577 pounds, the team of Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. Together they are the Blade Runners.
Okay, so this is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Two legends tag teams we don't get to see all the time, right?
Right.
But with wrestlers we do see pretty often. And they're both excellent tag teams with great chemistry. And I'm leaning towards Sting and Ultimate Warrior, based on just the power dynamic alone.
Which makes sense.
Martel and Santana are a kick-ass team with the technical skills. But Warrior and Stinger are just straight beasts.
Indeed, we do not see the team of the Blade Runners, Sting and the Ultimate Warrior in tandem very often, but tonight it's gonna happen right here on Rage, and they'll be facing Tito Santana and Rick the Model Martel, also known as Strike Force, when they work together.
We kind of booked a legend heavy card this week. I don't know, I just like it.
Their opponents, at a combined weight 465 pounds, the model, Rick Martel, and his partner, Tito Santana. Together, they are Strike Force.
Tito Santana, the former Mid-South champion before Billy White Moon came along, and Rick Martel, well, he did not look very fashionable in his last appearance at Snarl, but here they are, Strike Force back together again, facing the team of the Blade Runners back together again. Definitely a Legends Division Tag Team match worth watching. What a tag team match to close out the first hour. It's going to be Stinger and Rick the Model Martel. Starting things off as Walt Rothburn sounds the bell. They come center ring. Martel. A back body drop on the Stinger. Martel immediately going to work on a down Sting. Twist in the head. Martel rounds him up again. Sting shoves him down with some degree of force. Stinger rounds him up. Martel quickly counters with a shot to the midsection, an elbow to the face from Stinger. Martel with a series of kicks to the leg. Sting puts on the brakes, delivers another knee. Martel whip to the opposing team's corner, quickly countering and finding his way out. Sting, the first to keep him there. The Ultimate Warrior brought in on the tag. Here's a double team from the Blade Runners. Look at this, all the way up. Oh! An inverted atomic drop and a running kick to the face as the Ultimate Warrior takes control for his team. Rick Martel caught in a single leg crab. Referee Walt Rothburn backing away as Martel escapes the hold. Clubbing overhand right from Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior slams his head down to the mat. Rick Martel makes his way to his team's corner. Here comes Tito Santana on the tag. Santana countered by the Ultimate Warrior. A clothesline forces him back into his own corner. Quickly back up, swings and misses with the clothesline. Ultimate Warrior trying for the bear hug. Santana finds his way out. Gets a hold of Ultimate Warrior. Head first into the turnbuckle. Goes the Ultimate Warrior over and over again. Tito Santana relentlessly attacking the Ultimate Warrior's head. Stinger watching as Ultimate Warriors whip to the opposing team's corner. Rick Martel brought in on the tag. Martel with an air-assisted crossbody. Stinger desperately trying. Here he is. He got the tag. He's been waiting for it. Oh, clothesline from Martel takes him down. Sting catching another shot from Martel. Whip to the opposing team's corner. Counters with an elbow. Martel quickly puts on the brakes. Takes him down to the canvas. Back into a single leg crab. Strike Force also an extremely consistent tag team. The Blade Runners a bit more erratic. given the individual styles of both Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. Stinger drives a knee into the leg of Rick Martel. Martel counters with a kick to the midsection. Gets a hold of the Stinger. Whips him to Strike Force's corner. Here comes Tito Santana on the tag. And here comes the double team. Stinger whipped to the ropes. Back body drop as Tito Santana takes over for Strike Force. Santana with a forearm to Sting. Whips him to the far corner. Sting counters, finds his way out really quickly. Santana whipped to the opposing team's corner. Counters with a kick, finds his way out. Gets a hold of the Stinger. Counter whips him to his team's corner. Stinger quickly dodging out of the way. Gets a hold of Santana. Santana, preferring not to go back to the opposing team's corner, backs off Stinger with elbows. Gets a hold of Stinger. Hard shot to the ribs from Sting. Sting with a shot right to the head of Tito Santana. Santana finding his way out of the corner again. Gets a hold of Stinger, whips him to the corner. Clothesline. Down goes Sting. Sting quickly back up. Santana gets him right back, whips him right back into the corner again. Another clothesline. And Stinger now trying to find his way out of town, but it's no use. Tito Santana right there snaps the leg of Stinger. Santana with a leg drop. Rounds Sting up to a standing position. There's a flying elbow from Tito Santana with the kip up. Santana with a chop across the chest of Sting. Whips him to the corner. Another clothesline to Stinger. Stinger desperately trying to find his way to his corner. Not even sure where he is at this point. Tito Santana rounds him up again. I don't believe it. Right back into the corner again. Is it going to be no? Oh, it's even worse than a clothesline. Tito Santana putting the boots to Stinger. Rick Martel taking his turn. And indeed, the boot party has begun with Sting as the guest of dishonor. And here comes the coup de grace. The drop kick, and out of the corner goes Stinger. Martel covers, puts the leg. But Ultimate Warrior right there. Tito Santana showing Ultimate Warrior the outside. Rick Martel doing a little bit of showboating here, and they love him here in Calgary. Rick Martel gathers up Stinger. Stinger counters with a back body drop and a stomp to the leg of Rick Martel. Martel countering with a jawbreaker. Tries for the clothesline. Sting puts on the brakes, takes him down hard. The Stinger with a lot of fans here in Calgary too. There's a clothesline. A second. Martel catches a third clothesline from Stinger. Winds up on the wrong side of the tracks again. Ultimate Warrior makes his way in. Look at this. Here's an awesome double team. Ultimate Warrior whipped into the clothesline on Rick Martel. Martel counters, gets back up on his feet. Ultimate Warrior pitches in halfway across town. Martel trying to find his way to his corner, but it's no use. The Ultimate Warrior right. Oh, here we go. Military press slam from the Ultimate Warrior. Martel gouging the eyes. Warrior with a running kick. Blinded yet. Ultimate Warrior rounds up Rick Martel. Has him up in the front cradle. Fall away slam for Rick Martel, the Ultimate Warrior. And Stinger. When you put the Blade Runners together, you don't know what's going to happen. Martel counters quickly. Back up on his feet, gets a hold of the Ultimate Warrior. Hard whip to the opposing team's corner for the Warrior. Warrior counters with a hard shot to Martel. Another. Martel backed up halfway across the ring, up over the shoulders. And oh man, this is not going to be good. Ultimate Warrior. Military press to Rick Martel. Martel gets a hold of him, whips him to his team's corner. Ultimate Warrior says thanks, no. Dude, did you see that? A quick jab takes out Tito Santana as well. Martel escaping the opposing team's corner, gets the Warrior back to his. Oh, Ultimate Warrior saying no. Looks like nobody's going to anyone else's corner. Better settle this in the middle of the ring. Martel hangs the Ultimate Warrior up off the top rope, tags in Tito Santana. And Santana picking up exactly where Martel left off, but catches a back body drop from the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior pitches Santana to his team's corner. Santana with the quick Olay out of the corner. Snap mare to the Warrior. Warrior quickly back up. And whoo! Back Santana up in a hurry. The Warriors got him up. Santana counters. Inverted DDT. Slamming the head of the Ultimate Warrior into the canvas. Followed up with a flip over neck whip from Tito Santana. Santana rounds up the Warrior. Beautiful suplex pin, one. And only just a one. Ultimate Warrior rounded back up by Tito Santana. Puts on the brakes on Santana. Counters with a kick. Has Santana up over the shoulder. Quick little power slam there from the Ultimate Warrior. And he has raised the ire of the Ultimate Warrior. And now he's getting pummeled. Tito Santana counters with a jawbreaker, backs the Warrior off, misses with the clothesline, catches a kick to the midsection. Oh! The Ultimate Warrior suddenly finding himself hung up on the middle rope. Tito Santana driving the weight of the knee into the back of the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior rounds him up. Another fall-away slam from the Ultimate Warrior. Now beating the head of Tito Santana against the canvas. All patience exhausted for the Ultimate Warrior, and he didn't have much to begin with. Oh! A cross-body slam across the back. Oh! An attempt at a cover, but Santana must have kicked his way out. The Ultimate Warrior summoning whatever powers may be as he rounds up Tito Santana. There's the clothesline. And help goes Tito Santana. The military press drop, the rebound off the ropes, and a crossbody across the back. Big splash from the Ultimate Warrior. Follows Santana out to the outside. An arm drag. A knee to the head of Tito Santana. As the referee begins to count, Rick Martel debating whether or not he's going to get involved. Ultimate Warrior rolled back into the ring by Santana. Warrior gets whipped to the opposing team's corner. There's a clothesline. Down he goes. Tito Santana rallying some support from the fans here as he gathers up the Ultimate Warrior and once more whips him into his team's corner. The Ultimate Warrior up on the top turnbuckle. Tito Santana gonna take him for a long ride. A top rope superplex. 10 feet up and 10 feet down. And the Ultimate Warrior has crashed hard. Santana, whoa! The Ultimate Warrior coming right back with a fireman's carry and starts opening. Oh, a kick right in the keister to Tito Santana. The Ultimate Warrior seems to be doing just fine, despite a top rope superplex from Tito Santana. Driven into the apron, and down to the floor he goes as Walt Rothburn continues to count. The Ultimate Warrior rolled inside the ring by Tito Santana. Back up on his feet. Santana into a dragon sleeper from Ultimate Warrior. Santana with a right gets it. Whoa! Warrior shoves him down. Gets a hold of Santana again. Has him by the trunks. Vertical suplex from the Ultimate Warrior. Santana gathered up again. Warrior whips him to the far right corner. Santana dodges out of the way. Ultimate Warrior tags him with a right and a close one. That's whoa. Should have put his head in the 10th row. Tito Santana with the Ultimate Warrior right where he wants him. In the corner. Debating whether or not he's going to tag Rick Martel. Too late. Ultimate Warrior finds his way out. Santana puts him right back in there again. Ultimate Warrior in some trouble here. Tito Santana tags in Rick Martel ultimately. And here's another assisted crossbody as Rick Martel takes over. Warrior with a shoulder tackle. Drops Martel to the canvas, rounds him up again. Martel counters with a kick to the leg. Gets a hold of the Ultimate Warrior. Has him all the way up. Vertical suplex from Rick Martel. And this one's gone back and forth quite a bit.
Here's the cover and an illegal pin right there, but Sting breaking that one up by Rick Martel's legs. Martel, a little frustrated that the gimmick did not work, takes himself back inside. Ultimate Warrior rounded up. Look at this, Martel quickly taken down. A couple of good stomps from Ultimate Warrior. Warrior rounds up Martel. Hard whip to the corner. Boom, clothesline, and down he went. Rick Martel counters the Ultimate Warrior. Gets a hold of him. Whips him to his team's corner. Warrior gets himself out of the corner. As Rick Martel up, Martel counters into another inverted DDT for the Ultimate Warrior, whose head has taken quite a beating here. Whoa, running crossbody from Rick the Model Martel. Martel quickly countered by Ultimate Warrior. Martel quickly counters Ultimate Warrior. Gets a hold of him. Has him up for the long vertical suplex again. Rick Martel coming back here. This match has run long. No pin, no tap out so far. Ultimate Warrior misses with the charging attack, catches a glancing knee to the back from Rick Martel. A jab. Warrior against the ropes. Martel with a back suplex on the Ultimate Warrior, and he is starting to look a little bit tired. Might want to think about tagging in Tito Santana. Warrior quickly takes him down with a leg sweep, rounds up Rick Martel. Martel with a jawbreaker and a double axe handle to the Ultimate Warrior. And that one might have sealed the deal. There's an elbow across the chest from Rick Martel. Martel whips the Warrior to the... Whoop, there we go. He found his way out of the corner again. Martel goes for the ride, quickly escapes the other team's corner kick, a chop. A series of shots to the Ultimate. Look at this. Rick Martel absolutely opening up. On fire, takes down the Ultimate Warrior with a brutal series of blows. Up, absolutely amazing. Rick Martel throwing hands here. And it gets crucial. Here we go. It's a submission attempt. Warrior finds his way out quick. Counters. Gets back up on his feet. Gets a hold of Rick Martel. Dragon sleeper center ring. Shoves him away. Martel tosses him back to his team's corner. Warrior declines the offer. Makes a counter proposal. Martel on the other side of town now. Ultimate Warrior, look at this. Staring daggers into the eyes of Rick Martel. Waiting for him to move even the slightest muscle, and Ultimate Warrior is going to be waiting for it. And here it is. Warrior gets him up over the shoulders. Fireman's carry into a military press drop, and down goes Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior with a method to his madness. It certainly seems to be working. Martel snaps the arm on the Warrior. Warrior counters with the right. Martel pitched to the far corner, a clothesline from Ultimate Warrior. Martel back up on his feet. Gets a hold of the Warrior. Trying to hold him steady, no good. Warrior pitches him halfway across the ring. The Ultimate Warrior drags Martel center, follows up with a stomp to the midsection. A crossbody across the back of Rick Martel. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg, but too close to the ropes. Ultimate Warrior having to start again. Rick Martel, motionless. Might be ripe for the pickings. Martel counters with an elbow, gets back up. Gets a hold of the Warrior, has him. Ultimate Warrior says, no you don't. Elbows across the head, and up he goes one more time. Military press slam to Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior with a shoulder claw on Rick the Model Martel. He's gone. That's it. Ultimate Warrior taking a moment here to collect himself. Follows it up with a stomp to Martel, who probably done here. Rebound off the rope. Oh! And there's the crossbody splash. And that's probably the end right here. 1, 2, 3. It most certainly is the Blade Runners with a bell buzzer beater. Wow.
Here's the time, 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Here's your winners, the Blade Runners.
Big time kudos to the Ultimate Warrior and Stinger for saving us all from a time limit draw with a little less than a minute and a half to go. How about this? And against Strikeforce, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. That was really impressive. What a tag team match. A most impressive feat, 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Tito Santana and Rick Martel could not outlast the Ultimate Warrior and Sting the Blade Runners. That concludes the first half of tonight's RWL Rage. We will return with the second half right after this.